I always believe that if any one person can do it, then anyone can do it. Now, I come across people, learned a long time ago about, like Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Darren Hardy, then next thing you know, Grant Cardone, Eric Thomas. Like, man, all these cats got books. I can write a book. Like, they can write a book, I can write a book. So, like, it's just a constant narrative of mine. Like, if I see any one person can do something, then hey, anyone can do it. And if they can do it, I can do it. So, just that simple. When I talk to people like, hey, what do you want to be remembered for? Is this going to be like a family business where, your grandkids going to be working with you? Is it something where when you leave, whether it's this city or when you leave this earth, because you did this, something is different because you were here. Something exists here that didn't before you started it. That's really what I focus on a lot. So I'm great at helping people with that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Karen Simmons and today's guest is Christopher Ray Coleman. He is somebody that was homeless, but has come to write a book, and he's authentic, an innovator, and we're going to talk about perseverance through growing pains. Before we start the show, I'm excited to announce that we have a new sponsor for this podcast, and it's DocRx. DocRx is a family-oriented company dedicated to tailor operational solutions for patient health and compliance programs that increases the quality and efficiency of patient-centered care, and always with the mission of the patient's health first. With over 10 years of experience helping doctors and their patients with diagnostic testing, patient monitoring, medical supplies, compliance, wholesale pharmacy, physician dispensing, billing, and much more. DocRx is your patient and health compliance solution, both under one roof. To find out how DocRx can help you, your hospital, pharmacy, or physician's office, see all their services at docrx.com. That's docrx.com. Now on to today's show. Hey, I'm Karen. I'm a former CPA, entrepreneur, business consultant with big ideas.
Welcome to Cheers to Business.
Christopher Ray Coleman, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. A long time coming for us, a couple years knowing each other.
I know, we've become friends, I feel like, and I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love you to death.
Me too, man, me too. We've had some very good conversations about business, conversations about life, and I've enjoyed those immensely. I can't figure you out. And that's rare. That's rare. Every time I think you're going one direction, you kind of pivot. I try to research everybody a little bit. One, people that are interesting, and two, people that are coming on the show. I'm going to read your Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram. Somebody searches you. It's Chris-Performance Coach.
Uh-huh.
It said, I help student athletes transition into their communities after college to leverage their personal brands and build profitable, sustainable businesses.
Yep.
We've actually had a conversation about business before too.
Yep.
I see you as evolving. Is that wrong?
No, that's absolutely correct. I love that adjective.
Evolving is good. If you're not willing to evolve, change, pivot, whatever you want to call it with the key word of the day, I think you dive. You stop.
Yeah, especially today. Like I really feel we're entering like a new age. Like when there was the ice age and, we was in the information age, I really think because of 2020 and COVID and basically this national civil rights movement we've had with Floyd, and everything, like we're entering a new age. So if you're not changing and adapting, you're definitely dying, just like you said.
Somebody said to me earlier last week and said, there's opportunities here. People can make a little money. And I went, I've called that from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the beginning of this thing back in March on the first podcast about it, I said, people stop crying, pull your big panties up,
yep.
and look around you. Out of every crisis that's ever happened has been good.
Absolutely.
And so what do you see businesses opportunities right now?
Specifically right now, like we're in August right now, I really think there's gonna be a pendulum swing for events, ironically enough, because ever since March, people have been in front of their computers, stuck inside, not really being able to have that face-to-face interaction and say what you want. There's a lot of contradicting information out about COVID and the quarantine, but once these phases kind of, these waves just subside, I really think there's going to be this burning desire to, get to an event and have that face-to-face interaction and feel that energy. So contrary to what some people think, that events are dead and like there's never going to be anything like that. There's some confusion on how long it'll be before we get back to having like that full-on standing room only event. But once we do, I think whoever is that go-to in that space and willing to put their money on the line and promote it and be all in with it, it's going to be a great opportunity for that. So events, education, digital education, people like people don't want to be stuck in the situation they were in where, oh snap, my job, let me go. So I don't have anything to do, or man, unemployment is depleted. Like whoever thought unemployment would be depleted. So like people literally at some point didn't have any, income coming in. So now they want to set themselves up, for success with, having a backup plan, having a side hustle, having, some kind of freelance opportunity where they can make some money if they get into a bind. Well, not if, when. 'Cause I think this was a real reality check. Like, no, this is real life. Like life happens. We went a long time where we didn't have, a bubble bursting or quote unquote recession, and nobody could have, predicted that it would happen like it did this year, like in 2020. Like, like they say recessions happen every 4 years and or something along those lines, and we went, like, to my knowledge, ever since 08, 09 when the housing market crashed. Like that was the last big disruption. So we went a long time just living good, and this year was a reality check. Like, no, like this is like we're still on planet Earth. Like there's still a cycle to this thing where, after recession you have opportunity, and it just goes back and forth. So I think a lot of people are just going to go forward. Yeah, let me set myself up, have a side business. And so the educational space, I think, is a great opportunity.
I like that, because I've said a couple times that if you were going to get stuck at home, now's the best time ever to do it. You can learn how to do anything. You can learn how to be an AI. You can learn how to play an instrument. You can learn how to do anything. You have it at your fingertips. You have it on your phone.
All right.
For everything possible in the whole entire world. Learn how to do it. Lemonade, the old cliches, but I just say turn a nightmare into a dream. And
I
you
love that,
my friend, because here's what I know about Christopher Ray Coleman.
Okay.
Tell me where I'm wrong. Christopher Ray Coleman was on an academic scholarship to McGill-Tulane.
Correct.
Christopher Ray Coleman is a Catholic.
Correct.
Christopher Ray Coleman went to Tuskegee and his life changed and he became homeless, but then he wrote a book and he believed in himself. And now he's a coach and helping other people. One time he lost 30 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you next?
Oh, man.
What else did I miss?
I mean, you were spot on. A lot of people don't know those things about me. So definitely doing your research. So yeah, I'm a powerlifter. So a lot of people don't know that about me. So I'm actually competing in my first powerlifting competition in October. That's something I've always been passionate about. Well, I've always been good at lifting weights. So, but a good reason I'm so great at coaching student athletes is because I was a student athlete, and I know that struggle of transitioning without having something to channel that energy into after college and or just school period with some high school students. But that transition can be hard if you don't have anything to compete in when that's what you've been doing like all your life. So I'm excited to get back into competing as a competing athlete with powerlifting. What's next for Chris? A lot of businesses, a lot of subsidiaries, leveling up, for the longest I've been, even though I've been involved in, it's at like a gradual, pace, building that foundation, starting something that's great, but also, start where I can. Being here in Mobile, Alabama, going to be traveling, across the nation once things kind of open up again, and, use my personal brand. The description you wrote or you just read was from with Growth at its Army. So that's why I help, student athletes and even coaches and athletic department staffs. Going to be working with some staffs that need help, working with student athletes. Even with my personal brand, Coleman Enterprises, like that's like that's going to be, some special things coming up in the future, and really just building this ecosystem. Like I wish I had somebody like me when I was 18 and after high school, or even after I dropped out of college and was just lost. That there was no, like entrepreneurship wasn't sexy back then. Like you was either, like if you were an entrepreneur, that just mean you were broke. Like you couldn't. That just mean you couldn't keep a job back then. And now they have like complete entrepreneurship department and business in college. I just want to build an ecosystem where, somebody coming into whatever we have, whether it's Health is Wealth Nation, Growth at its Army, the new venture I'm starting up, Muck Up Nights with an L. So
Yeah, I couldn't say what it's called on the air.
exactly, yeah. So Muck Up Nights Mobile, but
What is it? I know you reached out to me over Instagram, and because I'm Karen, the CFO on Instagram,
right.
and you sent me a, hey, look at what I'm doing. I busted out laughing. I'm going to tell you the truth. It sounds like one thing, but what is it?
So it's an event series. Professionals can have a safe space basically to share their failures. So one of their main philosophies is share the failures, but also, failure sucks, but it instructs. So it started actually 8 years ago out of Mexico, actually. And it was just a group of 8 people. They was in a professional corporate, landscape, but they realized like, man, everybody always talks about their successes, but nobody really talks about like the failures, and they came up with, Muck Up Nights, with an F. So yeah. So the focus isn't really on that. It's not glorifying it. It's just like, hey, like let's have a conversation. Like let's learn from it. And also like a lot of times we especially with social media, we see the success and that's all we see. Like it's a highlight reel, when a lot of people are on social media. So it's just a great space to, talk about the failures. And honestly, I've known about the brand. It's a global brand, and I'm the founder and director of the Mobile chapter, of course. So I've always known about it, but one day I was like, man, like this is a perfect time for this. Like what year, like what better year to have a space to, share your failures and not, I mean, we all seen the studies of like depression and suicide when it comes to entrepreneurship and all of those things. So,
When I had a lot of good things happen a couple of years ago in recognition, and somebody went, well, this is your year. They're lucky. And I turned around and it took everything I had.
oh, I can
And
imagine.
I finally did. I said, that's right, because you didn't see the 25 years it took to get here and how hard, and time away from my family and crying on the way home. So, yeah, no, I can be on the failures, and I got a list of people who can be on the failures.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, we're gonna have you on that stage, and when we do it, yeah, it's cool. And it's such, and for me, my brand, because we've had discussions, like me and you talk the same, like we don't care like what we say, we don't have any filters. So with this brand with Muck Up Nights, it's like part of the origin story is they had these conversations 8 years ago, like while drinking some like special, alcohol like in Mexico. So one of the first things when I started, like, all right, you need a beer sponsor. So like it's fun, just like with you and your wine with the podcast. Like it's have a glass, have a cup, talk about the failures, and yeah, I'm excited to get it launched.
My best ideas were written down on bar napkins, actually.
There you go, the napkin contracts. So
I've had those. I've had it with corporate franchises before. I said, hey, about this idea. Yeah, I was with Katie, and we were in an Irish pub at a conference in National Harbor when I said, hey, let's buy a payroll company, and started writing it on a napkin. And that's how that the payroll ball got there.
right.
Yeah, I think my first, hi, my name, if there's a meeting, I would go, hi, my name's Karen, and this is how I mucked it up.
Right. And it's almost like the elephant in the room sometimes. Like, honestly, I've always been fail forward. And I really believe success and failure is like a family affair. It's like a yin yang kind of relation. But a lot of times, it's, like I said, it's almost taboo. Like we're afraid to talk about it. But you talk about some of the biggest entrepreneurs, business owners, like they embrace it. Like this is how I got this far. Like I know speed of implementation, no trial and error. So
To me, I've had people guest on the show that have been so honest enough and aware enough to be able to say, this is how I felt, this is why. And to me, it's other people can learn. I think it's a great podcast.
oh yeah, absolutely.
You know that 3 of the millionaires that I know have been broke 3 times?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think on average, in a lifetime, they go bankrupt like 3 times. And I read a stat about that. So, but nobody talks about that. It's like, oh, I don't want anybody to see me fail, or let me just not talk about this. But I mean, if you just knew how important of an ingredient that was to the overall success, then, we'll look at life a whole lot different.
Yeah, if I trip over something in public, I just bust out laughing. I don't know what else to tell you. So tell me, what do you see as one failure and what do you see as one success in your business life?
Business life, one failure I had was I didn't think big enough. So when I first started, my origin story, but so 2013, started out homeless, got a sales job. I got promoted. I had 5 promotions in 9 months, from sales rep to district manager. But once I became a district manager, I'm coming from homeless, and now I'm owning a sales organization, and moved to Florence, Alabama. So in a sense, that was the win for me in a way. So even though I went on and did great things, we did like 6 figures in 18 months, and I had a sales force of 150 reps, had a receptions department, 1,000 square foot headquarters. Like it was doing some great things, and especially in that area, like the median income is like $30K a year, Florence, Alabama. So grand scheme, doing some great things, but man, like I just didn't think big enough. It was a cap on my thinking and my imagination and my vision. So that was a failure that I think I had. Like, we gotta think anyway, so we might as well think big. And especially in this day and age, like I put up a post yesterday and you liked it and commented like taking bold steps. Of course, taking baby steps, when you get started, it's necessary. But if you just keep taking baby steps, you're gonna remain mediocre, remain in infancy. And from there, I've been thinking, like enormous, like even that's why I resonated with Scott Tyndall so much. He got his think bigger. That was a big failure for me, just not thinking bigger, not failing better, and just not going faster, for the most part. And one success that I think I had, which wasn't like necessarily a moment, but one successful thing I've always done was I always believe that if any one person can do it, then anyone can do it. Like in 2013, again, started out as a sales rep, but in that group interview when I was still homeless, but in the group interview to be a sales rep, I saw the district manager of Mobile running the group interview, talking about the pay scale, how the job works. I'm looking at him like, if he can do this, I can do this. So I just planted a seed then, like, man, I can be a district manager one day, and then next thing you know, I see, people moving away, starting district headquarters from scratch. It's like, man, I can do that. I get to running the business. I got an amazing story. I come across people, learned a long time ago about, like Jim Rome, Brian Tracy, Darren Hardy, then next thing you know, Grant Cardone, Eric Thomas, like, man, all these cats got books. I can write a book. Like, they can write a book. I can write a book. So like that, it's just been just a constant narrative of mine. Like if I see any one person can do something, then hey, anyone can do it, and I definitely can. If they can do it, I can do it. So just that simple.
All right, so talk about the book. Where can they get it?
If you just type in the 180 Effect and on Google, it'll pop up, take you to Amazon. You can get it. If you go to the 180effect.net, is my landing page for it, where if I got some signed copies on hand and in stock, you can get a signed copy. But yeah, just type in the 180 Effect on Google, take you to Amazon or the 180effect.net. But yeah, the book, first wrote it 2016, November 2016, the first edition. And I really had that just get it out there kind of mindset. It's like the iPhone, just get it out there and upgrade it later. Like don't worry about the bugs or anything. You can fix it later. So I put it out there, first edition, April of 2018. I published the second edition, the edition you got, the green copy.
Tell me 5 needs that you can help satisfy for someone, because I know you're a big value and needs person.
Mm-hmm. One need for sure is clarity, because right now, I mean, there's a lot of options to do a lot of things, especially with, Zoom and the, Wi-Fi and, working from home and basically it being mandated, in some cases. So it's a lot of options to do a lot of things. So one thing I help people with is just clarity, like what's for you, what fits your core values, what fits your lifestyle, your personality and etc. So clarity is one thing, simplicity. So I'm a keep it simple kind of guy. If you can't explain it, in a sentence, or if you can't explain it to a kid, then you don't need to do it. So when it comes to building business, it's just simple. It's a exchange for a product and a service for a monetary commission. Like that's business. A lot of times people, they want to get into the ROIs and, invest the money, and that's how they want to run a business. And, right now stocks is popular and whatnot. And for a lot of people that may be great, but for me, it's like I said, it's just simple. So you get this, I get your money, and we both, so it's a win-win. So the simplicity, that's one thing. Longevity. So is it sustainable? So I personally, I don't do anything. It's like a quick fix, quick dollar. Like, hey, if you can't see yourself doing this for the next 5, 10, 15 years, like why start now? Like you just like you're just gonna quit anyway, and you're not gonna do it long enough to even go through the necessary adversity and hardships that come with starting up a business in the beginning. So it's not gonna work anyway. So cause you're not fully bought in. You just tiptoeing. So I always find out what's sustainable, what comes longevity wise, legacy wise. That's a big thing. When I talk to people, like, hey, what do you want to be remembered for? Is this going to be like a family business where, your grandkids going to be working with you? Is it something where when you leave, whether it's the city or when you leave this earth, like, because you did this, something is different because you were here. Like something exists here that didn't before you started it. That's really what I focus on a lot. So I'm great at helping people with that. And the fifth need, of course, is just results. So, like that's the main thing. Like what's going to get the results? Like how can you start the day and be making money today? And you may be in the sales process where you may not see the money today, but how can you start generating money today and from getting started? So it's not hard. It's not complicated. Like what's your power base? Who do you know? So those are like the main needs and value propositions I'll focus on.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So where do people find you? How do they get in touch with you? Whether they need coaching, whether they need wealth, whether they want to ask you athletic questions. I don't know. How do people reach you?
For everything I'm doing, my landing page, ChristopherRayColeman.com. So that's my landing page. So basically everything I'm doing, all the different buckets that I have is right there. You can have a link to go to my book, have a link to go to Health is Wealth Nation, Growth at its Army, and, of course, find out about, Muck Up Nights. So with an F, Muck Up Nights Mobile, info at ChristopherRayColeman.com. You can email me there. And I just, a new business number where people can text me. I know texting is like it's an amazing, platform now. So I just I just started that up. So it's 251-237-9121, 251-237-9121, and just text me. And that's, I'm excited about that because, of course, I'm about to be putting out a lot of content and whatnot, but someone just wants to text me and have that more personal interaction. We can do that. I'm excited about being on this podcast. So I've been looking forward to talking to you. So I mean, you're like the financial whisperer,
That's the first. That's the first. I haven't heard that one yet. So thank you.
Yeah, like you just know everything, and yeah, just you're not afraid to be you. I even remember at Gulf Coast BizCon, with you being on stage. I was just like, she is just like she just stands out. Like no matter where you are and who you talking to, like you just stand out. So I've always loved you for that.
Well, thank you for that. I don't think anybody's more important than anybody else. I think trade workers are just as important and sometimes more important than college students. And I just think we're all the same, and God put us all here. We're all going to go the same way.
Absolutely.
So, and I don't care how much money you have because it can be gone tomorrow.
It really can. Hey, we all pink on the inside.
right. Well, cheers to you, Mr. Coleman, and thank you for being my friend and the great conversations. May they long continue.
Oh yeah, this is just the beginning.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. See you later.
Please be sure to subscribe to Cheers to Business podcast on iTunes or anywhere else that you get your podcast. Visit our Facebook and be sure to give us a like. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email from the website cheerstobusiness.com.